Here are 9 ways to stop emotional eating and lose weight. A registered dietitian shares tips to help you identify emotional triggers to overeating. If you respond to any emotional situation, happy or sad, by overeating and you want to stop, there are solutions. But you're not going to find them in your refrigerator, on a pastry cart, or in a restaurant. You'll have to look deeper. First step, learn to recognize and acknowledge emotional overeating for what it is so you can start eating to satisfy real hunger and not give into a habit of using food to distract yourself from dealing with feelings. Tip number 1, look at the way you eat. How you eat can be more important than what you eat. The total amount of food you eat, your attitude toward food, how you balance your meals and snacks, and your personal eating habits can play a much bigger role in emotional overeating than the specific foods you choose to eat. Take time to analyze your eating patterns, learn more about normal eating versus emotional overeating, and develop new self-help strategies to address both your emotional and physical relationships with food. Practice saying no, not only to unhealthy foods, but also to emotionally charged situations that sabotage your efforts to develop better eating habits. Tip number 2, recognize addictive behavior. For years, research studies were devoted to the question of food addiction, whether or not someone could be addicted to specific foods, especially those made with refined products like white flour, sugar, salt, and fat, and if these foods, in turn, were responsible for some overeating and binge eating behaviors. Since it could not be proven that food itself is addictive, researchers began to look at the addictive qualities of the behaviors. Elements of addiction include engaging in the addictive behavior, such as overeating, losing control, preoccupation with the behavior, eating, finding only temporary satisfaction, and enduring negative consequences, becoming ill or overweight from overeating. Tip number 3, separate hunger cues from emotional cues. It can be difficult to recognize and understand the difference between eating in response to hunger and eating in response to an emotion. Learn to separate the two and self-regulate your eating by eating mindfully and paying attention to hunger signals. Practice rating your hunger. On a scale of 1 to 10, just how hungry are you? If you're not feeling hungry or you're just a little hungry, you may rate that somewhere between 1 and 4. Wait until you reach 5, truly hungry, before you eat, but don't allow yourself to get overly hungry to the point where you overeat. Before we go even further, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more weight loss tips in the future. Thank you. Tip number 4, create a schedule. Eating regularly scheduled meals, and for some people, regularly scheduled snacks, can prevent overeating if you stick to the schedule. On the other hand, irregular eating habits usually spell trouble because they result in random eating and overeating. Generally speaking, most people schedule 3 meals and 1 or 2 snacks or mini meals at specific times of the day. Real hunger usually kicks in starting about 3 hours after your last meal. Depending on your eating habits and the time of day, a small snack may be sufficient at that point. If not, you're getting a signal that it's time for your next meal. Tip number 5, adjust your eating patterns. Some studies have found that skipping breakfast, eating late at night, and other unusual eating patterns can lead to weight gain for some people. That doesn't mean everyone can or should eat breakfast as soon they wake up in the morning, nor does it mean you can't eat anything at night. But if eating routines aren't helping you lose weight or control overeating, it may be time to adopt a new pattern. Short-term studies have also found that eating your main meal midday, for lunch, instead of later in the day, or what may be considered normal dinner time, can help facilitate weight loss and weight control. Tip number 6, find your balance. Living a balanced life means you're basically satisfied with all or most aspects of your life. It means you are meeting your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. When it comes to food and eating, imbalance means your diet contains too little of the most healthful foods or too much of the least healthiest foods. An imbalance in other areas of your life can lead to emotional eating that throws off your physical balance so that you become sick or lethargic or overweight. To find your balance, work to improve those areas of your life where you are unhappy or unsatisfied. Tip number 7, substitute healthy behaviors. If you're used to eating in response to emotional situations, what can you do instead? For a start, make a list of activities you might enjoy that don't involve preparing, eating, or shopping for food. One of the simplest, easiest, and healthiest alternatives to emotional eating is walking. Regular walking, speed walking, walking on a treadmill, walking your dog. Craft activities like knitting or felting not only pass the time and give you something physical to do, but allow you to be creative and productive. Tip number 8, gather support. A network of family and friends, including professional help in the form of a therapist or coach, if necessary, can be as important to your success as your own motivation and efforts. Those who care about your well-being can help by cheering you on, sharing ideas for healthier meals, recognizing the emotional underpinnings of your overeating issues, and perhaps even helping to diffuse some of the emotional situations that trigger your overeating. Surround yourself with people willing to lend an ear, offer encouragement and motivation, or maybe even join in as cooking, walking, or workout buddies. Tip number 9, look to yourself. To be successful, you have to believe in yourself and stay motivated by an ongoing belief that you can accomplish anything you set out to do. You can't be happy and successful all the time. That's not realistic. But you can learn to focus on your successes, not on your failures. You can push yourself to keep seeking solutions rather than losing hope or giving up when you hit an obstacle. Other people can help to a large degree, but it's up to you to find your strengths and use them to do the inner work, the emotional work that only you can do. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more weight loss tips in the future. See you next time.